Hello Bournemouth fans, it feels like a while since I've done one of these videos. I'll tell you what, it's been so nice just to have a couple of weeks off. The international break's been pretty boring. England have done what they have to do, but we're back in Premier League action this weekend and we're playing Wolves. As back of the net, we're going to be as busy as ever with more content, lots of podcast stuff, some giveaways, more videos on the YouTube channel. So I was feeling quite ill in the last video you'll have seen, and I didn't really get better for a while, taking a bit of time to chill out, and now I'm feeling okay again and looking forward to the weekend. It's been an interesting last few days though, hasn't it? Well, last 24 hours. With Mauricio Pochettino sacking for Spurs. That's the kind of club that Bournemouth fans absolutely shit themselves when they get rid of their manager. Arsenal's maybe a similar sized club because Eddie Howe is always there and thereabouts in the bookies' odds. However, was I concerned? Not really. What are the pros for Spurs to have a manager like Eddie Howe? Daniel Levy, notoriously tight with money, knows that Eddie Howe can work to a budget or sign players from the lower leagues that can progress and do well in the Premier League. That's a plus point. Doesn't have to spend as much money. He'd be on a relatively small monetary contract compared to José Mourinho. Mourinho would be on mega bucks, Eddie Howe less so. Mourinho likes to spend money and Eddie Howe a little bit more frugal because he's under a lot less pressure in terms of having to spend the big bucks. He can spend big when he needs it, but it doesn't have to be that continual, every transfer window there needs to be a marquee signing. Spurs are under pressure because a lot of the top six clubs seem to do that. Apart from them, Eddie Howe wouldn't have that problem. But there are cons. And these are the reasons why I thought that, there's absolutely no way he's going to go. I wouldn't call Spurs a hire and fire club, but the first sniff of some kind of reality biting this season and they get rid of their manager and they moved on. Last year, they secured a Champions League runner-up spot. They got to the Champions League final. Was that papering over the cracks? Probably, but does that show you that you've got a manager there that can get the best out of a not bad squad? Yes, you've got world-class players there like Harry Kane, but there are a number of other players in that Spurs squad. You think, they're all right, but they're not world beaters, and they managed to beat Ajax, who were hotly tipped at the time to do well in the Champions League. They got to the semi-final, and they outplayed them in that second leg, and then they got through to Liverpool, and it was a bit of a dull game, and it could have actually been quite different. I find it quite crazy, really, that Pochettino has gone, but apparently he lost the dressing room. This looks like it's been going for a while, this whole queuing up of José Mourinho, so maybe this is why they've not been performing on the pitch. And Eddie, of course, will be acutely aware of the volatile nature of management at the top clubs. He's very secure at Bournemouth, and even though Spurs have probably got a little bit of a longer term view than the likes of, say, Chelsea, maybe even Man United. I know they're sticking with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but it's not going to be long before he goes as well, surely. You'd think that Spurs have got that little bit more longevity, but then the first sign of any cracks and he's out the door. Is Spurs a too big a club for Eddie Howe? Yes. Nothing to do with the stadium size, nothing to do with the fan base, it's just to do with the expectation. There would be so much pressure on the guy. I'm not saying he couldn't handle it, but the relaxed way of life he's got and the control he's got over most parts of AFC Bournemouth, he will not have at any other club. It's a club that's a step too far for Eddie. Arsenal's a little bit of a worry. That's the next team that could maybe lose their manager. Emery's not exactly doing great, pulling up trees there. I know that Allegri was tipped previously. Maybe he's one that the fans will want in. And, again, like the Spurs fans yesterday, they'd probably be disappointed with having someone like Eddie Howe. So maybe the next step for Eddie is West Ham-sized club, Everton. You're looking at Leicester maybe, although Brendan Rodgers doing amazing work there. Maybe that's the type of club he should be going for next. But then, you can see AFC Bournemouth slowly starting to mix it up with that lot. Maybe not Leicester this season, but maybe that's going to be his next natural progression. Can Eddie manage big personalities? There's a lot of stuff going on. Rumours with Ericsson and Vertonghen and wives and stuff. Probably all bullshit. Can he manage big personalities? Ryan Fraser this season, has he managed him well? He's not even a big personality. It's up to you to question whether he's managed that situation well. He's not exactly got the best out of Ryan Fraser, but then is it the player himself that's causing the issues? What would he be like at a club where there is so much more media scrutiny? You don't really see the likes of Steve Cook, Nathan Ake, Adam Smith in Heat magazine, do you? You do for Spurs, and there are all the nightclubs in London. There's a lot more to deal with. You don't get much of that down here. Would he be able to cope with that? Not so sure. Like I said, the lack of control he'd have at Spurs. He's a massive cog at AFC Bournemouth. At Spurs, he'd just be a tinsy-wincy little cog in a massive machine. Would he cope working like that? Not completely sure. Wouldn't say he's a control freak, but he needs people to work to the way he wants to in order to get the success that he needs. And I don't think he quite had that at Burnley. He nearly had it, but there he just didn't have the control. He set them up for a great future, of course, with the signings that he got. However, in Bournemouth, he's got everything he needs. Now, given that Arsenal are in a shit state, Arsenal and Spurs, they're going to be, before the Mourinho announcement, they were going to be the clubs that in the Premier League that are probably most looking for a new manager next. As it turns out, it was Spurs who sacked Pochettino, and then you're thinking, well, if it's an Arsenal v Spurs, I know that they're caught in their own little dogfight, and their obsession with each other is probably preventing them actually progressing against the bigger teams, the actual proper top teams in the Premier League. But if Spurs got Eddie Howe, what message would that send out? Getting a manager that has had no success with Bournemouth. Now, I'm talking, we've had relative success, but no proper success, have we? Just take this season. Drawing with Norwich, Watford, Sheffield United. Hardly a blueprint for success, is it? He's a great young English manager, but arguably there are better British managers. Brendan Rodgers, for example. Spurs are a bigger club than Leicester. I know Leicester fans would probably get a bit irate by that, but those are the facts. Surely that would be the sort of person they'd be going for, even before Eddie Howe. As I say, the next step, logically, it would be an Everton or a West Ham, but should we be worried? Should we be worried that Eddie's going to be going? Only if Arsenal continue to play crap. But once again, I think they'll be looking at big names. Last time it was Tuchel, Allegri, managers like that. Eddie Howe is not really in their considerations at the moment. Now, perhaps if someone like Everton lost their manager, as Silva had a bad run of form, then if they came in, that would be another cause for concern. But for the meantime, I don't really think we need to worry. I put on a couple of Facebook forums on the Echo last night. He's not going to go. He's still got work to do here, and he wants to get Bournemouth to a point where we are an established Premier League club. And I think part of that is at least seeing the training ground through to completion as well, because that sets a really good foundation for us. On that issue, we'll have an update next week from around Camford to see what on earth is going on. Right, so those are my thoughts on Eddie Howe. This is a competition we've got going. This bad boy. This is from the Art of Football. It's an unframed print, and you can win it by going onto our socials. That's Twitter, Facebook and Instagram, and checking out the most recent posts, and get retweeting, get liking, etc., because it is an amazing print of some AFCB shirts of yesteryear. Now, if you're an avid follower on AFC Bournemouth on Twitter, you'll know, if you also buy the matchday programmes, that they're having a bit of a retro season where during the player interviews they're getting players to go to cool locations across Bournemouth, Poole and Christchurch and wear the old shirts, the cool ones like the Cooper's Beers, Exchange and Mart, all those classic do you remember all those amazing shirts? What a print that would be. We'd love you to win it, and get involved on socials, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Winner will be announced on Tuesday, closing entry with the Art of Football Monday at 6 p.m. So do check that out as well. Previews coming up later on this week. We chat to a Wolves fan called Helen Curry, giving us a real good insight into their season so far. Started off a little bit slow, but they've carried on, and they seem to have this metronomic regularity of putting in decent performances. And I thought their Europa League would be screwing their Premier League chances. Not so, holding their own in 8th position, and you sense they've got more to give. Should be a really tough game this weekend. Will we be without Josh King? Ugh, God knows. Apparently he had hamstring injuries, declared himself maybe 2 weeks after coming off the pitch, after scoring, by the way, in a 2-1 win against Malta. So, God knows what's going to happen with him. Hopefully he'll be all right, but we will see. And also, if you're at the game on Saturday, we'd love to see you after the game. We're looking for brand new faces, and the same ones if you can pop outside the 1910 bar, just on the opening of the fence in the car park, just on the other side, to have a chat with us, to get your raw match thoughts. We do try to get through as many people as we can, so we don't want to leave you sort of waiting around, but we would love to have you down there to chat. Straight after the full-time whistle, be around there for about 45 minutes or so. Come along and get involved. We'd really appreciate you coming along. Right, enjoy your rest of the week up the Cherries, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much.